You are aware of the common advice to just relocate to a retirement community upon retirement. It's stress-free, social, and simple. After giving it some thought, I must admit that it didn't set well with me. I wanted something different, something simpler, quieter, and, dare I say it, truly my. I made a decision that even I was startled by after downsizing from a house that was far too large for one person and a dog who believes he owns it nevertheless. Instead of living in a retirement community, I chose a smaller house. And believe me, that made a huge difference. From being able to chuckle at 2 in the morning, to enjoying coffee without having my life dictated by someone else's timetable. The journey has been crazy. I'm going to give you 10 reasons why this move has been one of the best choices I've ever made, so stay tuned. And perhaps, just perhaps, it will cause you to reconsider what retirement living actually entails. First and foremost, the ability to live my life as I see fit. You know, until I moved into my smaller house, I had no idea how much of my life had been planned by other people. Even the most pleasant retirement communities follow a set schedule, meals at set times, planned events, and intercom announcements. Great structure, I thought at first. However, I later realized that life is more than just adhering to someone else's schedule. I stayed in bed until 10 a.m. on my first day at my new place, rolled over, got my coffee, and blasted Johnny Cash.
No one knocked on my door and said, "It's breakfast time." No one made fun of my pajamas, which were, incidentally, heroic, forbidden college relics. I didn't have to worry about appearing suitable for retirement. I could read, drink, and even converse with my messy dog, Winston. It also goes beyond what is immediately apparent. I can paint the walls a stupid neon green simply because it makes me happy, move furniture at 2 in the morning, or dance around the kitchen while listening to Sweet Home Alabama. It was aptly expressed by one individual. Being alone isn't the only aspect of freedom. It's about being who you are without permission. I was struck by that. It's like taking back small pieces of who you are that have been sitting patiently under decades of routines, standards, and social norms. Freedom isn't chaotic here, you see. It's deliberate. I get to choose the type of morning I want, the volume of my music, when I eat, and when I take a nap. Indeed, there is a time to watch westerns non-stop till the sun sets. Even while these decisions might not seem like much, they all add to a life that genuinely feels like mine. And believe me when I say that sensation is invaluable. 2. Reduced monthly expenses with no additional costs. Let's now discuss money since, to be honest, freedom feels better when there isn't a bill lurking around to catch you off guard. On paper, retirement communities seem appealing. Meals, social events, and all-inclusive facilities. It sounds great. However, there is a small monster hiding behind that glossy brochure. Upkeep, supplementary service fees, activity fees, community money, and hidden costs. It adds up more quickly than you can say, "Oops, there goes my retirement fund." It was enlightening to downsize into a smaller house. My monthly expenses are straightforward, predictable, and easy to understand. Utilities, a small amount for groceries, and a mortgage or rent. Completed. There are no unexpected bills or mystery queue items. All of a sudden, I had extra money to spend on the things that truly matter to me. A coffee maker that produces espresso fit for an Italian cafe, impromptu weekend trips, or simply a small splurge on a nice dessert. The statement, "For the first time in decades, I can afford to do things just for fun without feeling guilty," struck a chord with me when a fellow older guy related his experience of downsizing. Not only did downsizing give me more living space, but it also gave me more money. Here's the worst part. A life with less expenses doesn't have to be dull. It's actually the exact opposite. Instead of donating money to a group that determines what constitutes happy, I get to spend it on little pleasures that add color to my life. Every dollar saved seems like a little uprising, a reminder that giving up is not the goal of retirement. It's about becoming more intelligent, trim, and yes, a bit mischievously self-sufficient. 3. Hug-like privacy. You know, until I got privacy, I didn't really value it. Even the most peaceful retirement community has a faint buzz of activity, such as footsteps in the hallway, neighbors chatting on their porches, or someone practicing the tuba at 7 in the morning. Everything adds up. Even while I enjoy socializing, I've come to the realization that there are moments when I truly enjoy being by myself. I found what I now affectionately refer to as hug-like privacy when I moved into my smaller house. It's comfort rather than loneliness. I don't have to explain why I'm still in my pajamas at noon or why I'm drinking my third cup of coffee while sitting on my porch and listening to the wind rustle the leaves. Without a crowd, I can cry at a depressing film or giggle at a ridiculous memory. Nobody cares if I take a nap at 2 p.m. and wake up whenever I want. It was aptly expressed by a woman on a forum. Moving into her own small house, she claimed, was like putting a blanket of peace and quiet around herself. She wasn't lying either. Knowing that your area is all yours is refreshing. The temperature, the lights, the music, and the noise can all be adjusted. I don't want any background music during bingo. Many thanks for it. It's a serenity that permeates your bones. The kind that shows you that seclusion is more than simply solitude. It's having a sense of security, comfort, and total control over your own small environment. Fourth, a feeling of community. The irony is this. You would think that living in a retirement home would provide you with a sense of community, but it's a very carefully chosen type. Social interactions are planned. Everyone is the same age, and everyone is attempting to fit into the same mold. Yes, it's pleasant, but sometimes it feels like you're in a fishbowl shaped like a human. I received something more richer when I moved into a modest house in a regular neighborhood. Unpredictability, variety, and genuine relationships. Not all of my neighbors are retired. They include college students, young couples, families, and even a few artists who frequently leave enigmatic chalk paintings on the pavement. I've swapped recipes with Mrs. Ramirez across the street, assisted children in saving trapped hamsters, and even ended up at an unplanned barbecue where someone brought a guitar and we all ended up singing enthusiastically but terribly. One senior said it so well, it wasn't until I returned to a real neighborhood that I realized how much I missed the turmoil of everyday life. The occasional neighbor shouting about a misplaced garden gnome, children squealing, and dogs barking. That's all, it's vibrant and authentic. Being with individuals your own age isn't the only way to feel like you belong. It's about having a sense of belonging to an organic, live, breathing group. It's disorganized. It's enjoyable. It's not predictable. Furthermore, I wouldn't exchange it for any kind of bingo night. 5. Customizing the area to meet my needs. One of the things that really made downsizing feel liberating is this: the capacity to utilize all available space in my little house. You get what you get in a retirement community. It is a one-size-fits-all arrangement, but it is functional. For someone who microwaves everything, your kitchen might be ideal. It can feel like attempting to prepare a fine dining experience in a shoebox, though, if you enjoy cooking as much as I do. I was able to create a room that suited me when I moved into my smaller house. I created a brightly lighted reading nook where I can curl up with my cat, a nice book, and perhaps a coffee cup that is on the verge of toppling over. I set up my kitchen so that my spices are within shouting distance and my favorite devices are easily accessible. And sure, I wanted to feel like a bit weird chef, so I even cut out a tiny spot for a tiny herb garden. I am free to alter, reorganize, or decorate any shelf, nook, and wall as I see fit. I also use a senior wellness planner to keep everything organized, including my budget, meals, medications, and habits. For my new, smaller life, it's like having a tiny command center. As a result, the area works for me rather than merely appearing to fit me. The link is in the pinned comment below if you'd like to have a look. Because the sunshine hit the rug differently in the morning than it did yesterday, I once spent an entire Saturday rearranging my living room. I was able to tune the house to its ideal rhythm, and it felt incredible, as if it were alive. Finally,
a space that reflects who I am, not who someone else thinks I should be. That's just what another senior said after transforming her little attic into a fully functional art studio. Giving up space is not the goal of downsizing. It's about creating a room that truly suits you, eccentricities, pastimes, and everything. 6. Authority over my everyday schedule. Oh, how wonderful it is to be in charge of my own day. I understand that having someone else set your schedule can feel strangely restricting, yet retirement communities offer convenience and organization. Breakfast is served at 8 in the morning. All right, but what if I want to stay in till 10 o'clock social hour at 3 p.m.?
After binge-watching westerns late at night? Beautiful, but I'd prefer to take a nap. I set the schedule in my little house. I get up whenever I want, sometimes for coffee on the porch at morning. At other times, I'm contentedly drowsy until the middle of the morning while drinking tea and watching Winston try out some new acrobatics on the couch. I don't feel like I'm violating any unseen rules when I take a nap at 2 p.m., bake cookies at 6 p.m., or even binge-watch old MASH episodes at midnight. One senior mentioned that he developed a natural rhythm after relocating to a tiny house. And that's the ideal expression. Nothing is forced or structured. My energy, my emotions, and my whims determine each day.
I feel as though my life has finally caught up to me rather than the other way around. To be honest, there's a certain delight in little uprisings. Selecting a chair to read in, deciding when to have dessert, or simply playing music too loudly. A life that feels vibrant, impromptu, and fully yours is the result of these small liberties, added day after day. 7. The ability to adopt animals. Or 3. This one is entertaining. Animals. They are frequently subject to stringent regulations in retirement communities. And I understand, they don't want dogs barking at 6 in the morning or cats toppling shared plants. I discovered something wonderful when I moved into my own tiny house. If I felt like it, I could adopt 3 people. I began with my tattered rescue dog, Winston, who pretends to be a guard dog but actually only protects the couch from unseen dangers. Before long, I was daydreaming about a cat. Perhaps a Sherlock in a tuxedo. Why end there? The ability to say, yes, I will adopt that adorable furball without signing endless forms or pleading with a housing manager is liberating. One man related how he swiftly adopted 2 cats and a parrot after moving into a modest house. Because they were constantly around and gave him unsolicited advice in the form of squawks and meows, he dubbed them his retirement council. That is so true that it made me giggle when I read it. Pets become a part of your everyday routine. You're never really by yourself. They make even the smallest house feel big, and you always have something to laugh about. Additionally, taking care of pets gives your life some structure and purpose without requiring you to do anything. You give them unconditional love, walk them when they need exercise, and feed them when they're hungry. It's responsibility and freedom wrapped in fur. A dog sprawling across the couch, a cat attempting to perch on your laptop, and the peaceful knowing that all of this pandemonium is entirely yours to enjoy are, to be honest, the best ways to spend a lazy Sunday. 8th, authentic artistic expression. This is a point that truly resonates with me. Originality. If you like the structure, retirement homes can offer art clubs or craft hours. But what if, at 3 in the morning, you want to create a mural? Because you were inspired. What if you wish to construct your own woodworking bench in the garage or transform a small attic into a music studio? I had more room and, more significantly, the freedom to express my ideas after downsizing. I don't need a schedule or a reprimand for being too dirty to paint, sculpt, build, plant, or even try to play the guitar. I once converted my sunroom into a tiny art studio over the course of a weekend. There was paint everywhere. It was wonderful when my cat attempted to assist by strolling across the damp canvas. For a week, it didn't matter if the house smelt somewhat of turpentine or if the walls were slightly splattered. Every brushstroke felt like taking back a piece of myself that I hadn't even realized I had been missing. That mess was mine. One elderly man told a tale about turning the basement of his smaller house into a woodworking shop. He claimed that creating things wasn't the only thing that brought him delight. It was the ability to decide what to make, when to make it, and how to do it without seeking permission. That struck a chord with me, since being creative isn't about obeying rules. It has to do with self-expression. Loud at times, messy at others, and always genuine. My downsizing provided me with a home that was more than just a place to live. It fostered the aspects of me that enjoy tinkering, creating, and adding some color to life. To be honest, I feel more alive in my tiny, somewhat disorganized, yet completely personalized space than I did in my large, well-kept former house. 9. Tranquilly regarding aging in place. After downsizing, I was struck by this, the assurance that my house is prepared for my convenience rather than someone else's. Retirement homes frequently offer assistance as you get older, which sounds wonderful on paper, but in practice, you're handing over control of your daily life to someone else. Installing grab bars, modifying your shower, or even making minor adjustments to make your house safer and more pleasant may require authorization. That seemed constrictive. I was able to arrange things precisely how I wanted it when I moved into my smaller house. I repositioned furniture to reduce trip risks, added grab bars in the bathroom, and ensured that every light switch and shelf was just where I needed it. Since I enjoy dancing while cooking, and gravity doesn't always wait for me to be careful, I even placed a small, slip-resistant rug to the kitchen. Knowing that I've set up my home for me with my habits, my pace, my quirks, it's the first time in years I've felt truly safe and independent, is exactly how I feel, according to a senior man who adopted a similar strategy. Limiting myself was not the goal of downsizing. It was about building a house that would grow with me, allow me to age with confidence and dignity, and give me control over every aspect of my life. Knowing that I've prepared for the possibility of stumbling gives me a sense of calm. It's similar to presenting yourself with a comforting gift of insight in your own two hands. To be honest, no amount of group care in a retirement community could match it. 10. A way of life that suits me, not the model. Lastly, the lifestyle itself is the most important. Retirement communities can be beautiful. Don't misunderstand me. They provide social opportunities, convenience, and structure. Here's the problem, though. They are made for a template, a retirement that works for everyone. Furthermore, I didn't want to conform to anyone else's idea of what my elderly years should include after spending decades living a life that was wholly mine. Now that I'm living in a smaller house, I can create a lifestyle that precisely suits my interests and eccentricities. I have the stamina to go on impromptu expeditions, cook the kind of dishes that make my kitchen smell nostalgic, wake up whenever I want, and spend the morning talking to my plants. I might be gardening one day, binge-watching vintage westerns the next, or creating a homemade bookcase that resembles an abstract sculpture rather than a piece of furniture. The important thing to remember is that this is my life, not a predetermined timetable that someone felt would make me happy. It was eloquently stated up in a comment I read. Instead of a life that was prefabricated for retirees, I wanted a life that was all mine. I was impressed by that because it is accurate. I now have the room, flexibility, and freedom to live authentically, thanks to downsizing. Depending on what the day demands, I can be silly, dirty, quiet, noisy, indolent, or enthusiastic. I am supported by my home, not the other way around. And that is invaluable, my friend. Ultimately, my life was not diminished by downsizing. It enlarged it. It restored the simple pleasures, independence, autonomy, and laughter that I had assumed were exclusive to my younger years. To be honest, it helped me realize that slowing down isn't the best aspect of becoming older. It's having the room to live the life you've always desired. That's it. I went for a smaller house instead of a retirement complex for 10 reasons. Pets. freedom, seclusion, creativity, and a place that is all mine.
It goes beyond downsizing. It's about improving the life I want to lead on my terms each and every day. I can assure you that taking charge of your space and your schedule will bring you a great deal of happiness, whether you're considering moving or are simply interested in life after downsizing. Hey, don't simply sit there if you liked my story. Click the like button, send it to someone who might be in need of some motivation, and subscribe for more advice and anecdotes about maximizing this phase of life. Recall that it's not about making your life smaller. Growing the portions that truly matter is the goal, and that is worth every square foot, my friend.